Hello again, everybody. Let's work on our harvesting system a little bit, because right now, let's get rid of that red circle real quick. I'm going to open up my interact radius, select the sphere, and put to hidden in-game. That way we don't see it. But right now, when we run over to our plant and try to harvest it, you'll see we can run off no matter where we go and it still harvests. We don't want that to happen. We want that to be kind of similar to other games where you start moving and it stops it. So I'm going to open that up, and off of the false, before it starts running the coding again, I'm going to add in a branch with a B left click. I'm going to hook this to the false because we are going to drag out our player ref, get our velocity, and if it's great, oh, that's right, off of the get velocity we're going to get the vector length, just like our speed variable in our enemy blueprint. We'll drag that back, and if it's greater than, let's say 10, then we don't want it to do anything other than drag out our player ref one more time, set harvesting to false. That way it'll take our bar off screen too. So let's test that out real quick. So yeah, start moving or jump, and then it cancels itself out. But if I'm just standing there, I can still harvest. So, good deal. Now let's add in one more harvestable. So for this one, I'm going to be using the animal variety pack under harvestables. I'm going to go into the animals folder, right click, create a blueprint class, yeah, I said it right, of a character. And I'm going to call this one buck_BP, because that'll be our, we'll make a deer out of this one. Under the mesh, over in the skeletal mesh, drop down, type in buck, nope, not buck, stag, that's right, it's a stag. And I'm going to drop him down to -90 so that his feet are right at the bottom. For some reason it's always -90 lines him upright. And then I'm going to rotate him 90. I like having this enabled for the rotation, otherwise it goes into even fractions of it. So just make sure that is clicked and you can rotate it just right. Now under the BP self, we're going to add a tag of enemy. That way we can actually damage it. Under the mesh, we want to go under the collision, and we want to drop this little arrow. I'm going to set this to custom and make sure it blocks visibility and ignores the camera, because that way it won't make our camera jar around if we have him around us and try to look around. I'm going to add a component of a sphere collision. I'm going to compile. I'm going to increase that to about, 100 looks good. I'm going to attach it to the mesh with no parent socket, that way it just stays right on the mesh. In the event graph, I'm going to delete those on begin play, just like with everything else. Cast to player BP, get character off of this, promote to variable player ref. And down underneath, right click any damage, because you don't want to be able to harvest a deer while he's just standing there. That would be weird. So right now we're just going to set up that if he takes any damage at all, it just automatically kills it. So we will add a variable called dead ? And over here we will play animation on the mesh. So drag it away a little bit, right click, do once. That way you can, otherwise it'll play the same animation over again every time you hit them. This way it only does it the one time. And under the new anim to play, let's stag death. And then set dead to true. We are going to get our, under the class settings at the top, we want to add our interact blueprint interface so that we'll be able to call our interact, what's happening? No. Why ain't you doing what you're supposed to be doing? Let's see, class settings, interact BPI. Okay, so interact, call function. Oh, I just needed to scroll up. Target is interact BPI. So off of that, we want to add a branch just to make sure he's dead, because he can't harvest a living deer, he will run away. And if true, then we want to get our player ref set harvest current to 0, set harvesting to true, double click, drag that out, box select and Q to make it nice and pretty, and then we will down here right click custom event called skinning, and then off of our harvesting we will call that. So I'll drag out the player ref and I want to set harvest current to get harvest current. Drag you up a little bit, just straight lines. Plus float. Oh, let's see. Promote that to a variable of harvest rate. I'm going to default that to, what was it, 0.02, and the other one, that one went pretty well. Drag that up so we set it to the new amount. Drag off greater than or equal to harvest max. Put that up like that. Put that up like that. If it is greater than or equal to our harvest max, we want a branch. Okay. Off of the false, we want to do another branch. Get our player ref, drag off. Oh, hold up. Now we'll just go ahead and do it this way. Alright, player ref, get velocity, get vector, no, just vector length. Greater than 10. If false, we want to delay. I'm just going to hook up the harvest rate to that one. You can promote it off to another variable if you want to, but this works for right now. And then we will call our skinning function again. If true, we want it to get and set our harvesting to false. Let's compile that real quick, drag this down, open up our character blueprint. Over here under the inventory tab, we want to add, I'm going to duplicate the green plant and call it, for mine, I'm going to just make it to where animals give you meat for now. Later on I'll add leather when we get into like the armor upgrade abilities, or when you gotta have a certain amount of leather and bone in order to upgrade your armor's capabilities, but for right now, just raw meat. Oh wait, that's right, raw meat, because we're gonna have cooked meat later on for a character to eat. So if our harvest current is greater than or equal to our harvest max, then we want to set harvest, nope. We want to drag off our player one more time and do set harvesting to false. We want to drag that up, drag out raw meat. We want to get the raw meat first. And then we want to set raw meat. Off of the get raw meat, we want to do integer plus integer, drag this off from the bottom, promote that to a variable called meat to give. That way when we do our ability screen later on, we'll be able to say, hey, you can harvest more meat from animals, you get 2 now instead of 1. That whole chestnut. So I'm going to drag these up just a tiny bit, just to clean it up a little bit. And drag that down, that up. I'll clean this up in a bit. For right now, let's just get it functioning. So then we want, let's see, after it is skint, we want it to set that our character is no longer harvesting, give our character the actual piece of meat, and then we will destroy the deer so that we can't do it again. So let us try this. Save all. I'm gonna drag out my dear friend. Oh, my dear friend. I'll make you face here. Let's try to harvest it first while he's alive. Ugh. That's my sister's dog. He sees other dogs in the neighborhood and goes nuts. Sorry about that. He'll stop in a bit. But we killed the deer. And then we can harvest it, skin it. Oh, we need to check, make sure. I'll open up the player HUD. I'm going to change this. I'm going to remove the binding from the get text because we don't need to check the plants anymore. But I will. Actually, instead of creating a new one, I'll just go to that and get raw meat. Drag that back. Charlie. Wait a minute. I gotta set this back to get text 4. That's right, that's my bad. Alright, now let's test it. Yeah, 0. So, draw my sword. Boom. Take him down. Harvest his meat. And now I've got some raw meat. So, yay. And now that works a little bit better. Let's just make sure that when I try to harvest him, if I harvest and run away, yeah, it stops appropriately. Yep. So there we go. Increasing on our harvesting a little bit. So pretty soon we'll start working on the actual crafting, where you have to have certain amounts of certain things in order to craft potions or leather our armor upgrades and all that. We'll have a campfire where we can cook meat. We'll add in a hunger system, all that jazz. But right now we're just getting the basics set up. So thanks for dropping by.